The rain fell hard on the small farm at the edge of New Bizen Colony. June sat on his wooden porch, watching water pour down in sheets. The protective dome above the colony made the rain look strange, like it was falling through a giant bubble. June didn't mind. After 3 years alone on this new world, he had grown to enjoy these quiet moments. He sipped his tea and looked out at his fields. The crops were doing well this season. Not bad for the first independent farmer on Proxima Centauri B, he thought with a small smile. Earth was just a distant memory now, a crowded planet he had left behind for this peaceful life. A bright flash caught his eye. Something was moving across the artificial sky, tumbling through the air. It wasn't a ship. It moved too wildly, leaving a trail of light behind it. June stood up, squinting through the rain. The object crashed into the muddy field beyond his fence line, sending up a spray of dirt and water. "What in the world?" June muttered, setting down his cup. He grabbed his emergency kit from beside the door, an old habit from his military days, and pulled on his raincoat. Whatever had fallen might be dangerous, but curiosity pushed him forward. He trudged through the mud, rain soaking his pants despite the coat. As he got closer, June slowed down. This was no piece of space junk or fallen satellite. In the shallow crater lay a creature unlike anything he had ever seen. It was about the size of a large dog, with a long, serpent-like body covered in scales that shifted between deep blue and dull gray. 2 wings were folded awkwardly against its sides, and a row of small spines ran down its back. A dragon? The word felt silly coming from his mouth, but there was no better way to describe it. The creature's chest moved up and down slowly. It was alive, but clearly hurt. A dark liquid that might have been blood seeped from a wound on its side. As June stood there, unsure what to do, the creature's eyes fluttered open. Those eyes stopped June cold. They were not animal eyes. They shone with clear intelligence, a deep purple color that seemed to glow from within. The creature looked directly at him, and June felt something he couldn't explain, a connection. A silent plea. The dragon tried to stand, but fell back with a soft, pain sound. Its scales flickered weakly, like dying lights. June made his decision quickly. He knelt down and carefully slid his arms under the creature's body. It was surprisingly light, as if its bones were hollow like a bird's. The dragon didn't fight him, but watched with those strange, knowing eyes. "It's okay," June said softly. "I'm going to help you." He carried the dragon back through the rain to his porch. Water ran off its scales in rivulets, and he could feel a strange warmth coming from its body despite the cold rain. June laid it gently on the cushioned bench that ran along the porch wall. The creature's wings unfolded slightly, revealing thin membranes that looked almost translucent. June went inside and came back with a soft blanket, which he draped over the dragon. "Rest here," he said. "You're safe." The dragon's eyes held his for a moment longer before slowly closing. Its breathing steadied, and the color of its scales settled into a calm, deep blue. June sat down in his chair, watching the strange visitor. Questions raced through his mind. What was this creature? Where had it come from? There were no native animals like this on Proxima Centauri B. The planet had only simple life forms before humans arrived, and nothing in the colony's research labs looked like this. The rain continued to fall as night approached. June should have called the colony authorities. That was the protocol for unknown organisms. But something held him back. The intelligence in those eyes, the way the creature had looked at him. This wasn't some mindless animal, and it was hurt, vulnerable. "I guess you can stay the night," June said quietly. "We'll figure things out in the morning." He went inside and returned with a bowl of water, placing it near the dragon's head. Then he brought out a small medical scanner from his emergency kit and carefully ran it over the creature's body. The readings made no sense. The scanner kept glitching, showing impossible energy patterns. As darkness fell, the dragon's scales began to glow faintly, giving off a soft blue light that illuminated the porch. June watched, fascinated. The wound on its side seemed to be closing already, much faster than any natural healing. June stayed on the porch late into the night, watching over his strange guest. The colony's artificial lights dimmed as most settlers went to sleep, leaving only the glow of the dragon scales and the distant stars visible through the dome. "What are you?" June whispered. The dragon's eyes opened briefly, looking directly at him. For just a second, June felt something a touch in his mind, like the beginning of a thought that wasn't his own. Then it was gone, and the dragon's eyes closed again. June leaned back in his chair, suddenly tired. He should go inside to his bed, but he didn't want to leave the creature alone. What if it needed help during the night? What if it woke up scared in a strange place? So he stayed, pulling another blanket around his own shoulders as the temperature dropped. His last thought before drifting off to sleep was that he had never seen anything so beautiful and strange as this dragon with its glowing scales. In the morning, June woke with a start. The rain had stopped, and sunlight streamed through the dome onto his porch. He looked quickly at the bench, half expecting the dragon to begin a dream his tired mind had created. But the dragon was still there, watching him with those intelligent purple eyes. And now, in the clear light of morning, June could see something else. Tiny stars seemed to move within its scales. Like a piece of the night sky had taken animal form, the dragon lifted its head, and June knew his life would never be the same again. 3 days passed since June had found the dragon. Each day, the creature grew stronger. Its wound had closed completely, leaving no scar on its shimmering scales. June kept it supplied with fresh water, which it drank eagerly. He tried offering different foods, synthesized protein, vegetables from his garden, even some dried meat he had saved for special occasions. The dragon accepted small amounts of the protein and seemed particularly fond of the sweet root vegetables June grew. On the morning of the 4th day, June stepped onto his porch with a fresh bowl of water and stopped in surprise. The dragon was fully alert, sitting upright on the bench. Its scales had changed from the deep blue of previous days to a bright azure that seemed to capture the morning light and amplify it. The tiny star-like points within its scales moved in patterns, like constellations shifting in a living sky. "You're looking much better today," June said. Setting down the water, he didn't expect an answer. For 3 days, the dragon had watched him silently, showing intelligence in its eyes, but making no attempt to communicate beyond simple head movements. "Thank you for your kindness," came a clear, melodic voice inside June's head. June stumbled backward in shock, nearly falling off the porch steps. The dragon hadn't opened its mouth, yet he had heard the words as clearly as if someone had spoken aloud. The voice was distinctly feminine, with a musical quality that reminded him of wind chimes. "You can talk?" June asked, gripping the porch railing to steady himself. "I can communicate," the voice replied in his mind. "My name is Hannah. I am not from your world." June slowly moved back to his chair and sat down, staring at the dragon. "That much I figured out," he said. "Are you some kind of experiment? Something from the research labs in the main colony?" The dragon Hannah made a soft sound that might have been laughter. Her scales rippled with color, shifting to include flecks of gold. "No, I am from much further away than you can imagine. I am what your people might call a guardian of the sky, a protector of the space between stars." "A space dragon," June said flatly, trying to process this information. "That is a simple way to describe me, but not wrong," Hannah replied. Her head tilted slightly as she studied him. "I was hurt while protecting this star system. My kind rarely speak with humans or other planet-bound species, but I had no choice but to find shelter. And you crashed on my farm," June said. "Of all the places on this planet, not by accident," Hannah said, her purple eyes fixed on his. "I sensed something in you, a good heart, a quiet mind. I needed a safe place to heal." June looked out at his small farm, the first independent homestead on this new world. He had come here to be alone, to escape the crowded colonies and find peace. Now he had a talking space dragon on his porch. "Well, you found safety here," he said finally. "Though I'm not sure how much protection a simple farmer can offer a guardian of the sky." "Sometimes," Hannah said gently, "all that is needed is shelter and kindness." "You gave both without question." June felt his face grow warm at the praise. "Anyone would have helped." "No," Hannah said firmly. "Many would have feared me. Others would have called your authorities. Some would have tried to capture me for study or profit. You simply helped, June shrugged, uncomfortable with her gratitude. Can you tell me more about what you are? What you do out there in space? Hannah's scales shifted to a deeper blue with silver streaks. My kind watches the boundaries between realms. We ensure that the walls between different parts of space stay strong. Realms, like other dimensions? June asked, trying to understand. Yes. Your scientists have theories about multiple dimensions, parallel universes. They are correct, though their understanding is limited. These different realms exist side by side, separated by cosmic boundaries. My kind maintains these boundaries. June tried to wrap his mind around this concept. And something damaged these boundaries. That's how you were hurt. Hannah's scales darkened slightly. There are those who wish to break down these walls. They seek to harvest the energy that exists between realms. They do not care that this could destroy entire star systems. And you were fighting them. June asked. Yes, they breached a boundary near your solar system. I was pursuing them when I was injured by their weapons. I used the last of my strength to seal the breach, but could not maintain my proper form. I fell to your world, weakened. June leaned forward, suddenly concerned. Are these boundary breakers still out there? Could they come here? They will be searching for me, Hannah admitted. But they cannot detect me while I remain in this smaller form. As I heal, I am also hidden. How long until you're fully healed? June asked. A few more days, perhaps. My energy returns quickly now. Hannah stretched her wings slightly, extending them further than she had been able to before. The thin membranes caught the light, showing rainbow patterns like oil on water. And then you leave. June was surprised by the note of disappointment in his own voice. Hannah's eyes softened. I must return to my duties, but I will not forget. Your kindness, June. June nodded, understanding, but still feeling a strange sadness. In just a few days, he had grown used to the dragon's presence on his porch. His solitary life suddenly seemed emptier at the thought of her leaving. Can you tell me more about space? He asked. What it's like out there, beyond our dome. I left Earth to find new horizons, but I've only seen this small colony. Hannah's scales brightened. I can show you better than I can tell you. She extended one wing toward him. Touch my wing, and I will share what I have seen. Hesitantly, June reached out and placed his fingertips on the delicate membrane. Instantly, his mind filled with images, stars being born in vast clouds of color, planets of impossible beauty, the dance of comets and asteroids, and strangest of all, the shimmering walls between realms that looked like curtains of light stretching across the cosmos. When Hannah withdrew her wing, June sat back, breathless with wonder. That's what you protect, he whispered. Yes, Hannah said simply. That is my purpose. June looked up at the colony's artificial sky, seeing it differently now. Beyond that dome lay wonders he had never imagined, and dangers just as vast. Whatever you need while you heal, he said firmly, it's yours. A week passed since Hannah had first spoken to June. Each day, her strength grew. Her scales now shone with brilliant colors that changed with her mood, bright azure when she was happy, deep purple when thoughtful, and sometimes a soft gold in the evening light. She told June stories of distant stars and strange worlds that no human had ever seen. He, in turn, shared tales of Earth and humanity's journey to the stars. June was in his garden, tending to his plants, while Hannah rested. On the porch, the morning was peaceful, birds singing in the trees June had planted when he first arrived. Suddenly, Hannah's body tensed. Her scales shifted rapidly to a deep, alarming red. What's wrong? June asked, looking up from his work. They've found me, Hannah said, her mental voice tight with fear. Who has? June stood up, brushing dirt from his hands. His question was answered by a distant sound, a high-pitched whine cutting through the air. June looked up to see three black shapes moving across the sky. Sleek vessels unlike any colonial craft he had seen before. They moved with unnatural speed, their dark hulls reflecting no light. The Void Hunters, Hannah explained, rising to her feet, her wings extended partially. Still not fully healed, they break boundaries between realms to steal energy. I was chasing them when I was hurt. The strange ships circled high above the colony. A pale beam of light shot down from one vessel, sweeping across the landscape like a searchlight. They're looking for me, Hannah said. My energy signature is unique. Once they find it, they will come. Can they detect you now? June asked, moving closer to the porch. Not yet. My power is still low. But as I heal, I become easier to find. Hannah's wings trembled slightly. I must leave, June. If they find me here, they will destroy everything around me to capture me. You're not fully healed, June protested. You said yourself you can't maintain your true form yet. It doesn't matter. Your safety is my concern. June cut her off. He hurried inside his cabin and returned moments later with a small metal device. It was old and scratched, with a simple control panel on one side. What is that? Hannah asked. Signal disruptor, June explained. From my military days. It creates a field that blocks most scanning technology. We used it to hide from enemy sensors during the resource wars on Earth. He activated the device. It hummed softly, lights blinking on its surface. This might buy us some time, he said. It won't fool them forever, but it could hide your energy signature temporarily. Above them, the searching beam passed over June's property without pausing, continuing its sweep toward the main colony. They'll realize something is blocking their scans eventually, June said, watching the ships. But it gives us time to think. Hannah's scales shifted to a thoughtful purple. You would risk yourself for me? These hunters are dangerous, June. They have destroyed entire worlds to get what they want. June shrugged. You said you're protecting our star system. Seems like helping you is just good sense. There's more to humans than my kind believed. Hannah said softly. As night fell, they watched the hunters' vessels continue their search pattern across the colony. Lights flashed in the main settlement, and June could hear distant announcements over the colony's emergency system. He turned on his communication device and called the only person in the colony he still spoke with regularly, Ty, a communications specialist who had helped set up his farm's systems. June, are you seeing this? Ty's voice came through, tense and excited. Strange ships over the colony. No one knows what they are. I see them, June replied calmly. What are they saying? They claim to be from Central Earth Authority, here, on official business, but their credentials don't match any known format. The colony leader is talking with them now. Ty paused. They're searching for something they call stolen property. Everyone's been ordered to report any unusual sightings. June glanced at Hannah, who was listening intently. Nothing unusual here. Just keeping to myself as always. You would miss an alien invasion if it didn't walk through your garden. Ty joked. Listen, these visitors give me a bad feeling. Their ships have weapons systems unlike anything I've seen. Be careful, okay? Always am. June said, keep me updated if you learn anything else. He ended the call and turned to Hannah. They're questioning people in the colony. They will not stop until they find me, Hannah said. The energy I contain is valuable to them. With it, they can create more breaches between realms, harvest more power. And that's bad because, June prompted, because the boundaries exist for a reason. Hannah explained, when they are damaged, reality itself becomes unstable. Stars die before their time. Planets lose their orbits. Life ends. June looked up at the night sky, thinking of the stars beyond the colony's dome. So these hunters would risk destroying entire solar systems just for power. Yes, they believe they can control the process, take just enough energy without causing collapse. They are wrong. Hannah's eyes glowed brighter in the darkness. My kind has seen it happen before. Whole galaxies lost because of such greed. June watched the searching ships, their lights cutting through the night. How many of these hunters are there? These are just scouts, Hannah said. If they find me, they will call others, and if they catch you, what happens then? They will extract the cosmic essence I contain and use it to breach more boundaries. With that power, they could tear open the walls between realms across this entire sector of space. Hannah's mental voice grew quiet. Your world would not survive. June sat in silence for a long moment, thinking. Finally, he stood up. Then we need to make sure they don't find you. Until you're strong enough to fight back. How? The disruptor will only hide me for so long. June smiled slightly. I didn't survive the resource wars by giving up when things got difficult. I have an idea, but I'll need help. He picked up his communication device again, and I know just who to call. As he dialed One of the hunter ships broke from its pattern. Turning toward the outer farms, its searchlight grew brighter, more focused. "They're expanding their search," Hannah said, watching the approaching light with growing concern. "Then we'd better move quickly," June replied, waiting for Ty to answer. "Because I think they're coming our way." "Ty, I need your help," June said as soon as his friend answered the call. "No questions. Just trust me." "What's going on?" Ty asked, his voice low and worried. "Those ships are looking for something important. Something I'm protecting." June watched as the hunter vessel moved closer to the outer farms. "I need you to create a false signal on the other side of the colony. Make it look like an energy spike." There was a pause. "June, what have you gotten yourself into?" "I'll explain. Everything later, I promise. But right now, I need that distraction." Ty sighed. "Give me 10 minutes. I can use the colony's weather control system to create an electromagnetic pulse. It won't last long. That's all we need." "Thank you." June ended the call and turned to Hannah. "We need to move you somewhere they won't look." "Where?" Hannah asked. "Their scanners will find me eventually, no matter where I hide." June looked at his small cabin, thinking quickly. The root cellar. It's lined with lead sheets to protect the stored food from radiation. It might block your energy. Signature long. Enough. He helped Hannah down from the porch. She could walk now, though her movements were still stiff. Together they moved to the back of the cabin, where a small door led down into the cool darkness of the underground storage room. "It's not comfortable." June apologized as they descended the narrow stairs. "Comfort is not important," Hannah replied. "Survival is." The cellar was small but dry, with shelves of preserved vegetables and fruits along the walls. June cleared a space in the corner, laying down some blankets. "Stay here," he said. "I'll keep the disruptor active up above. Between that and the lead lining, it should hide you temporarily." Hannah settled onto the blankets, her scales dimming to match the darkness. "What will you do?" "I'll try to learn more about these hunters. Maybe find a weakness." June checked his old military watch. "Ty's distraction should start any minute. That might buy us more time." As if on cue, a bright flash lit up the night sky visible through the small cellar window. The hunter ship that had been approaching suddenly changed course, speeding toward the source of the disturbance on the far side of the colony. "It worked," June said with relief. "Now I need to get to the colony center. The hunters will be questioning people there. Be careful," Hannah warned. "They can sense deception." "Then I won't lie," June said simply. "I just won't tell the whole truth." He left Hannah in the cellar and hurried to his small transport vehicle, a basic electric cart that he used for trips to the colony. As he drove toward the settlement, he saw more flashes in the sky where Ty's distraction was working. The hunter ships circled the area, their search beams scanning intensely. The colony center was in chaos when June arrived. People gathered in the main square, watching the strange ships overhead. Colony security forces stood at alert, their weapons ready but useless against the advanced vessels. June spotted Ty near the communications building and made his way over. "Whatever you're hiding, it must be important," Ty said quietly when June reached him. "Those ships went crazy when I triggered the pulse. They're tearing apart the weather control station now." "It is important," June confirmed. "More important than you can imagine." Before he could explain further, a new sound filled the air. Deep, resonant hum that made June's teeth vibrate. A fourth ship, larger than the others, descended from the clouds. It hovered directly over the colony square, and a beam of light brighter than the others shot down. Within the light, a figure appeared humanoid but clearly not human. It stood nearly 7 feet tall, with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that glowed with an unnatural white light. It wore armor that seemed to absorb the light around it. "People of this colony," the figure spoke, its voice unnaturally deep. "I am Commander Vex of the Void Consortium. We seek a fugitive that has crashed on your world, a dangerous entity that has stolen valuable property from us." The colony leader stepped forward, a brave woman named Sue who had helped establish the settlement years ago. "We have no knowledge of any fugitive. Your ships have disrupted our colony and frightened our people. We demand that you leave." Commander Vex's glowing eyes narrowed. We detect an energy signature consistent with the fugitive somewhere in this region. Someone here is hiding it." He raised a device that looked like a small black sphere. "This detector will identify anyone who has had contact with the entity." June tensed. If that device worked as described, he would be discovered immediately. "We will skin each citizen." Vex continued. "Those who cooperate will not be harmed. Those who resist." He left the threat hanging. June began to back away slowly, trying to blend into the crowd. He needed to get back to Hannah, to warn her. "You," Vex suddenly pointed directly at June. "Why do you retreat?" All eyes turned to June. He froze, mind racing. "I'm just a farmer," he said, keeping his voice steady. "I don't like crowds." Vex stepped toward him. The scanning device extended. "You have had contact with the fugitive. The residual energy clings to you." Colony security moved toward June, unsure. Whose side to take? "What is this fugitive?" Sue demanded. "What has it supposedly stolen?" "That is consortium business," Vex replied coldly. "Hand over this man for questioning." June looked at the faces around him, neighbors he barely knew, people he had kept at a distance since arriving. Then he looked at Ty, who stood nearby with confusion and concern on his face. In that moment, June made his choice. The fugitive stole nothing. He said loudly, addressing the crowd rather than Vex, "These hunters are the thieves. They break boundaries between worlds to steal energy, not caring that they destroy entire star systems in the process." Gasps and murmurs spread through the crowd. Vex's eyes flared brighter with anger. "The fugitive is a protector," June continued. "A guardian that maintains the walls between realms. Without such guardians, reality itself would collapse." "Lies," Vex hissed. "The entity is property of the consortium. Its energy belongs to us. No living being is property." June replied firmly. "And the one you seek is very much alive." Vex raised a hand, and two more hunters appeared in beams of light beside him. "Take him. We will extract the information we need." As the hunters moved toward June, his communication device beeped urgently. He glanced down to see a message from his home security system. "Motion detected in root cellar." Hannah was on the move. "You're too late," June said, a small smile forming on his lips. "She's already recovering her strength." As if to confirm his words, the sky above the colony suddenly darkened. Not the natural darkness of night, but something deeper, as if the stars themselves were being hidden. Vex looked up, alarm crossing his alien features. "No," he whispered. "It cannot be ready to transform yet." "You underestimated her," June said. "And you underestimated what a little human kindness could do." The darkness above them began to swirl, forming a pattern like a whirlpool in the sky. At its center, a point of brilliant blue light appeared, growing larger by the second. "Everyone, get to shelter," June shouted to the colonists. Now, as people began to run, Vex grabbed June's arm with inhuman strength. "What have you done?" he demanded. June looked the hunter directly in his glowing eyes. "I let a weary dragon sleep on my porch. Turns out, I was sheltering the sky's guardian." The swirling darkness above New Bizen Colony parted like curtains being drawn back. Through this opening came Hannah, but not the small dragon that had rested on June's porch. This was Hannah in her true form, massive beyond imagining, her body stretching across the sky like a living constellation. Her scales shone with the light of 1,000 stars, shifting in patterns that hurt the eyes to follow. Her wings spread from horizon to horizon, casting shadows across the entire colony. Where the small dragon had been beautiful, this true form was awesome in the original sense of the word, inspiring both wonder and fear. In the colony square, people fell to their knees, staring upward with open mouths. Even the colony's security forces stood frozen, weapons forgotten in their hands. Commander Vex's grip on June's arm loosened as he looked up. "The Guardian has regained its full power," he whispered, fear clear in his voice for the first time. June pulled free and stepped back. "Her name is Hannah," he said, "and she's not in it." Above them, Hannah's voice boomed across the colony, no longer just in June's mind, but heard by all. "Void hunters," she said, each word vibrating the air itself. "You have violated the cosmic accord. You have attempted to breach the walls between realms. You have threatened this world under my protection. The hunter ships scattered, firing energy weapons upward. Their beams, so threatening before, now seemed tiny and weak against Hannah's vast form. The shots disappeared into her starry scales without effect. Vex raised a black device and spoke. Urgently. Into it. All ships, converge. Use the boundary disruptors. Full power. The hunter ships regrouped and fired again. This time with weapons that tore holes in the very fabric of space. The air around Hannah rippled and distorted as the weapons tried to force her back into the space between realms. Hannah's great head turned toward the ships. Her eyes, now like twin suns, narrowed. She opened her mouth and released a stream of pure cosmic energy, not fire, but something more fundamental, like the building blocks of reality itself. The lead hunter ship was caught in this stream and simply ceased to exist, not exploding, not breaking apart, but vanishing as if it had never been. The remaining ships tried to flee, but Hannah was faster. With movements that seemed impossible for something so large, she swept through the sky, creating containment fields around each vessel. The ships froze in midair, trapped in bubbles of warp space where time itself seemed to slow. On the ground, Vex and his two companions activated devices on their armor. Their bodies began to shimmer, preparing to transport away. "Oh no, you don't," June muttered. He lunged forward and grabbed the device on Vex's wrist, twisting it sharply. The device sparked and died, leaving Vex stranded as his companions disappeared. Vex snarled and struck June with inhuman strength, sending him sprawling to the ground. The hunter stood over him, a weapon forming in his hand from the material of his armor. "You have doomed yourself and your world," Vex hissed. "The consortium will send more hunters. We will tear this system apart to get what we want." Before he could fire, a beam of light struck him from above, not a weapon, but a focused ray from Hannah. Vex froze in place, his body outlined in starlight. "You will harm nitrogen monoxide, one else," Hannah's voice declared. "Your hunters are contained. Your ships are disabled. You have failed." The colony's security forces cautiously approached the frozen hunter. Sue, the colony leader, helped June to his feet. "Are you all right?" she asked, her eyes darting between him and the enormous dragon in the sky. "I'm fine," June assured her, touching his bruised jaw. "Better than I've been in years, actually." "What is happening?" Sue demanded. "What is that being?" "A friend," June said simply. "One who's been protecting us all along, without us knowing it." Above them, Hannah began to shrink, her vast form condensing. She descended toward the colony square, still larger than any Earth creature, but no longer filling the sky. Her scales continued to shine with starlight as she landed gently before the gathered colonists. People backed away in fear, but June walked forward to meet her. He stopped before her great head, which was now about the size of his entire body. "You recovered your strength faster than expected," he said with a small smile. "Your kindness accelerated my healing," Hannah replied, her voice now gentler but still audible to all. "The energy of compassion is powerful in its own way." She turned her attention to the frozen Vex. "This hunter and his captured companions will be taken to the Council of Guardians for judgment. Their ships will be dismantled. The stolen energy returned to the boundaries they damaged." Sue stepped forward hesitantly. What are you?" Hannah's scales shifted through colors of blue and gold. "I am a guardian of the cosmic boundaries, what you might call a dragon of the stars. My kind maintains the walls between different realms of reality, ensuring the stability of the universe. And these hunters," Sue gestured to Vex, "they seek to harvest the energy of these boundaries for power, not caring that this weakens the very fabric of space and time." Hannah's eyes narrowed. "They have destroyed worlds before. They would have destroyed yours eventually." The colonists murmured among themselves, trying to understand these cosmic concepts. Ty pushed through the crowd to stand beside June. "This is what you were hiding?" he asked. Eyes wide with wonder, "She crashed near my farm," June explained. "She was hurt, needed help. What was I supposed to do? Turn her away?" Ty shook his head, laughing softly. "Only you would find a cosmic dragon and just let it sleep on your porch." Hannah lowered her head to look directly at June. "I must return to my duties now." The boundaries need repair after this incursion. June nodded, feeling a strange mix of relief and sadness. Will I see you again? Hannah's scales rippled with colors. I am assigned to this star system. This colony is under my protection, especially a certain Porch. Her eyes gleamed with something like affection. Humans have never known we exist. That cosmic guardians watch over the boundaries of your reality. Perhaps it is time that changed. She extended a wing, touching June gently. You offered shelter to a weary dragon, not knowing you were helping the sky's guardian. Your kindness has forged a connection between our kinds that has never existed before. June smiled. My porch is always open. Sue and the other colony officials moved closer, their fear giving way to curiosity. We have so many questions, Sue said, and there will be time for answers, Hannah replied. But first, I must secure the hunters and repair the damage they caused. She rose into the air, her form expanding once more. The frozen Vex and the trapped ships rose with her, caught in her gravitational pull. As she ascended toward the artificial sky, her body began to shimmer with cosmic light. For a moment, she hovered there, a magnificent silhouette against the clouds, a dragon of the cosmos, guardian of boundaries, and now, friend to humanity. Then, she was gone, passing through the colony dome as if it were not there, leaving only a shower of iridescent scales drifting down like starry snow. June caught one in his outstretched hand. It glowed with inner light, warm against his palm, a promise of return. The colonists stood in silence, trying to process what they had witnessed. Then Sue turned to June. I think, she said slowly, you have quite a story to tell us. June closed his fingers gently round the scale, feeling its gentle pulse like a distant heartbeat. Yes, he agreed, looking up at the stars now visible through the dome. It begins with a rainy night and a dragon on my porch. But I think it's really about something bigger, about how sometimes the greatest acts in the universe can start with something as simple as kindness. Round him, the people of New Bizen Colony gathered closer, eager to hear the tale of the farmer who had befriended the sky's guardian and, in doing so, changed humanity's place in the cosmos forever.